Mike Tomkins is a MasterChef finalist and festive cooking expert, renowned for his invaluable tips on achieving the perfect Christmas feast. And Mike is on the line with us here. How excited are you for Christmas?
Oh, I'm so excited for Christmas. It's the best time of year for me, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And do you enjoy the cooking, or do you get stressed like a lot of people?
I used to get stressed, but I absolutely love it now. But I know that about 50% of people disagree with me, and I think a lot of that comes down to cooking the turkey, you know?
And what is it, do you think, about Christmas and the turkey that makes it so stressful?
I think it's because we've all been to someone's house and had that dry turkey before, and none of us want to be that person, you know? So
yeah. And I guess there's a lot of pressure, isn't there? Even if it was beans on toast or something really easy, it's the most important meal of the year for a lot of people. So there is a lot of pressure regardless of how hard it actually is.
Yeah, I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves for that day, you know, and it comes down to, you know, we've spent a lot of money, you know, times are tough at the moment, so we really don't want to be getting that wrong, but it's all about taking the stress out of it. So one of the things that I do that's really, really useful is I cook the temperature and not time. So I use a meat thermometer. I actually use a ThermoPen, which would happen to be the meat thermometers that are in the MasterChef studios as well. And basically you're using that instead of the cooking instructions on the packet, and that makes sure that you have a really juicy turkey rather than a potentially dry disaster. And then also prepping in advance. These things can really take the stress away from the day.
For a lot of people, they do just follow the instructions, so doing it in a different way than you normally would by cooking to temperature, could that arguably add some stress to it?
That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, I guess if you're cooking it slightly differently to how you have been before, you might be a little nervous, but using a meat thermometer, you know, they really accurately read your temperature, the ThermoPens, they're instant reads, and you can just make sure that you are cooking to exactly the temperature that turkey or chicken or beef or ham, whatever it is you're cooking on the day, you can guarantee that it's the temperature it needs to be. And then you can guarantee that it's going to be super juicy and your end result's going to be perfect. And you could always practice now with some chickens or whatever you've got.
Absolutely. You spoke about prepping in advance. How can we effectively prep in advance to avoid stress on the big day itself?
Yeah, so this is one of the tips I sort of learned going through and practicing was basically start the prep the day before. So I love to get all the veg peeled, get everyone involved so that I'm not doing it all myself and getting blisters, get all those carrots done, pop them in some cold water, and you can leave those on the side overnight. They're going to be absolutely fine. And then that means in the morning, you're not waking up and thinking, oh no, I've got to peel all my spuds and get this ready. It's all done. You're all prepped. You've done 50% of the work already.
It not just avoids stress, but also it gives you a chance to realise if you've forgotten something, because you can buy it on Christmas Eve. You can't get it on Christmas Day.
Yeah, that's so true, you know. By prepping a day in advance, you buy yourself a bit more time on the day and, oh God, I forgot to do the cabbage. Well, you've got it there. You're ready to roll. So you can get that sliced and your day's back on track.
Absolutely. When you're doing the turkey by temperature, do you still have to use time to some extent? Like, you know, there's no point checking how far it's gone when it's only been 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's very true. Unless you've got American and you've deep fat fried your turkey. I think you've always got you've got to keep time in mind. And I think, you know, you can use those instructions as a rough guide. So you know roughly when you've got to start and when you're going to have some time. But also one thing I don't think we do enough is resting. So when that turkey comes out of the oven at the golden temperature, you can pop it to one side and you can leave it to rest under a bit of foil, hour and a half, you'll be absolutely fine. Then gives you more oven space to get those sides in, get the collard cheese going, get the roasties on. You have loads of time that way.
And roast potatoes as well are a holiday staple. And you've got quite a unique trick, don't you, for ensuring that they come out crispy every time?
Yeah, so roasties are essential, right? So you've got to make sure that they're crispy and crunchy and soft on the inside. And I can't say this is my trick because I did borrow it from a chef that I know. But what you do is you parboil them, well, you boil them the night before, and then you toss them in the fat that you're going to cook them in on the day. But then you pop that in the fridge. What they do is they get a lovely coating, and then on the day you stick them in the oven and they roast perfectly every time.
Oh, wow. And Brussels sprouts as well, they often get a bad rap. You've got an approach that sounds delicious. So can you tell us a bit more about how to stir fry the sprouts with lemon juice juice and parmesan and all these things that you can add to them.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think sprouts get a hard time because we just boil them, and they don't taste great just boiled. So I've had a really lovely way where you shred them really fine, cook them. You can either do it in bacon and chestnuts, or you can do some lemon juice and parmesan and just add a bit more flavour to them. But also you don't cook them to death because you haven't boiled them for 20 minutes. So I think that's a really lovely way of eating them. And I think more people would have them on their plate if they were cooked like that, because it's a lot more like cabbage.
And it's interesting because turkey and Brussels sprouts is the kind of stuff we only eat at Christmas. And some people would argue that there's a reason we only eat them once a year. But it's good that you can do all sorts of stuff with it and make it nicer.
Yeah, for sure. I think they get a bad rep because we come round to them once a year. We're a little bit nervous maybe about the turkey being cooked. We cook the Brussels one way because that's the way we've always done it. But actually, like Brussels sprouts, I'm eating them now. It's roast season. So I've incorporated them into my cooking, and turkey's great for leftovers as well. So we should definitely be eating more of these things. It's tradition, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And once we've eaten them on Christmas Day, you can save them for Boxing Day as well, which it's almost a tradition to do that now, isn't it? Have the leftovers.
Yeah, for sure. So in my house, we always make a little extra, especially to guarantee that we have those leftovers. Make sure we've got enough for a sandwich, then maybe a turkey and ham pie, or a turkey curry is always really, really good.
Yeah, that is a tradition, a turkey curry every year on Boxing Day.
The winner.
Absolutely, because even if you don't really like the turkey, when you have it in a curry, you almost don't notice that it's turkey, really.
Yeah.
It's just a curry at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. And you can use all of the bits that you wouldn't normally eat, so there's no waste. So, you can be using your bones for a nice stock, and you can really shred all of the meat off of there. And it's a really beautiful way to use your leftovers.
It's quite important as well to get the dishwasher loaded right after dinner. So how can you streamline that post-dinner cleanup process and avoid spending too much time in the kitchen?
Yeah, post-dinner cleanup is an essential part, right? We all shy away from it, but I think you've got to rope everyone in, get a chain going, get those plates rinsed straight in the dishwasher, and then all the big pots and pans, just share the load, get as many people in helping, and then you can all relax and have a mince pie in front of the TV afterwards.
Absolutely. You want to spend as little time in the kitchen as possible and just get back to the living room and whatever you're doing.
Yeah, exactly, and enjoying the day.
Do you have any advice for people to not only just survive the cooking and Christmas, but actually enjoy it and excel throughout it?
Yeah, so I really enjoyed the Christmas cooking. I love making sure that everyone's having a great time and enjoy it, but I know that's not the same for everyone. So I think the top tips really are prep early, take a lot of the stress away from it, and make sure that you've got all of your sort of steps planned out in advance. And then cooking to temperature and not time is a crucial one. You just take all of that guesswork away. But I've actually got a lot of top tips, temperature guides, and resting times as well on firmerpen.co.uk. So if the listeners go there, they can borrow some of my tips and hopefully take some of that stress away from the day and really thrive instead.
Yeah. And for you, do you have any personal, memorable or challenging experiences from your own Christmas cooking adventures?
It's a good question. So I have recently started doing my turkeys on the barbecue as well. And one year it came out beautifully, really, really well. And then the second year I did it, it wasn't quite so good. So for me personally, I was devastated. But, we live and learn.
This year, are you trying anything new? Are you trying the barbecue again or doing some experiment? Or is it very traditional this year?
So I am a traditionalist. I would normally go down the traditional route, but I will at the same time be barbecuing the turkey again and a big barbecue ham. So that's what we're going for this year.
Fascinating. And in the meantime, where are we able to go to find out more information?
Yeah, so I've got my socials, so at The Note Cook on Instagram, or go to the Firmerpen website, firmerpen.co.uk, and there's loads of information and tips on there.
Brilliant. Well, many thanks for joining us today. Have a great Christmas and good luck with all the cooking.
Thanks so much. Merry Christmas.